I've been thinking for some time now about making a video showing what I think are the best places to watch and photograph the freighters entering and leaving Sturgeon Bay, especially for winter layup. I get asked that question a lot, so let me show you some of my favorites. Truth of the matter is, there are dozens of locations, but I'm going to share with you my favorite spots to watch and photograph and take drone footage of these lakers all along the 12-mile stretch of waterway from Lake Michigan on the east to the Bay of Green Bay on the west, and give you some tips that I picked up over the past 7 years or so. Where to park, when to arrive, where to position yourself to take advantage of the best compositions, the best light, and the best backgrounds, show scale and interest so that you can make the most of your photographs. We're going to begin our journey at Canal Park and the Sturgeon Bay Ship Canal Nature Preserve. This 445-acre site is just one of dozens of properties operated under the auspices of the Door County Land Trust. It's located at the end of Lake Road in South Lake Michigan Drive in the city of Sturgeon Bay. There is plenty to like about this location and plenty of compositional opportunities with clear sight lines all the way to the horizon. The potential for dramatic sunrise backdrops, a lighthouse and channel marker to provide depth and scale, and unique angles, enabling you to capture the entire vessel in a 3/4 port bow view. You can shoot from anywhere along the beach or from the breakwall if it's clear of ice and snow. And there's plenty of open sky to maneuver around with a drone. It is easily accessible and the best beach location on the list to photograph the boats and the 1,200-foot long breakwater at the entrance to the canal, allowing for some really dramatic shots. Canal Park is a great place to watch the boats any time of year, and the lighting is good here any time of day. But mornings, especially sunrises, can be spectacular. And you don't have to limit your compositions to the beach or just to the jetty. Walk along the shore inside the breakwall and get low to the water for a wading duck's perspective with nice reflections off the water as the boat approaches. If the weather permits and you're fit and feeling a little adventurous, you can climb atop the canal wall directly across from the Coast Guard station. It can be a bit sketchy as some of the concrete is crumbling, but it is a great vantage point to view the entire length of the canal, and it's as close as most people are ever going to get to one of these boats, some as tall as 10 stories above the water, majestically passing within 25 or 30 feet of you, close enough to say hello to the crew on deck. Capturing images at the Sturgeon Bay Canal Nature Preserve never disappoints, which is why whenever a freighter is entering or leaving through the canal, it is usually my first stop. Our next location is just a few minutes up the road to where the man-made canal ends and the natural bay waters begin. It lies at the end of a mile-long winding gravel lane known as Barge Road. It was built out of necessity back in 1961 after the Karlsholm, a Swedish freighter, struck the only bridge crossing the bay at the time, the Michigan Street Bridge, damaging the bascule lift mechanism and leaving it stuck in the open position. This severed the only overland route connecting the lower part of the county to the upper part. The bridge was out of commission for 6 months, until repairs were completed. So in the meantime, they carved out this gravel road leading to the canal and built a temporary bridge across the 125-foot waterway by anchoring a barge in the middle of it and placing temporary ramps connecting it to either side so people and commerce could get across while the bridge was under repair. The name stuck. It's still called Barge Road, and it's still in use by the Army Corps of Engineers, providing work access points for dredging and maintenance on the canal. This is a very popular place to watch the freighters pass. You can literally get within 100 feet or so of these giants without ever having to get out of your car. And the city is good about keeping the road cleared of snow. Stand along the rail, and you can see her for 1.5 miles in either direction. Although there are several visual distractions, which is why I don't come to this place that often. Not the least of which is this railing. And then the high tension towers and the lines that cross the canal. But if you can put up with that, your photos can easily convey just how tight the fit is here and the size of these giants. Really starting to cloud over now. The canal serves as a good leading line, both from a bow view and a stern view. A wide-angle lens, 20 millimeters or so, or even a medium zoom lens works best here on her approach. And you can get down low, too, and capture some really dramatic angles. If you decide you want to photograph boats as they're going to sail into town, you have about 20 minutes to get there from here, give or take. Once you pass this Barge Road, you don't want to dilly-dally. You want to get there long before the bridges go up and traffic gets snarled. Our next stop, between the bridges. So photographing these boats at ground level or at water level is really a fantastic experience. It really gives you the sense of enormity and the power of these boats, and they're just so tall. What's impossible to get though at ground level is a three-dimensional view of these boats, and that's where a drone really is worth its weight in gold. You can get up above these things, you can go around them, you can see the deck, you get a three-dimensional view, you see it in context with its immediate surroundings, and it really makes for a powerful, powerful photograph or video. So what to do? Not everyone has a drone, I understand that, but most people have cell phones with cameras, or maybe even a good camera. So where we're headed now is the only place in the entire peninsula where you can get up close to these things and above them safely without a drone and get these tremendous three-dimensional views of them coming through the two bascule bridges in the middle of town. And that's right here at the Door County Maritime Museum in Sturgeon Bay, smack dab in the middle of town. And atop that, Crest Tower, 10 stories off the water. That's where we're headed now. Good morning.
Looking to see the museum today?
I am indeed.
First time here?
No, I've been here before. And so, for the price of admission, you can get up to the 10th floor of the Crest Tower. Wait till you see the view. So if you're lucky enough to get up here during business hours, 8 to 5, 7 days a week, at a time when one of the boats is coming through the two bascule bridges, you will have captured what many photographers, local photographers especially, consider the holy grail of boat photos in Sturgeon Bay, threading the needle. So if the weather is decent, there's no ice out on the observation deck, and the winds aren't too strong. Yesterday they had 30-mile-an-hour winds here, so they closed the observation deck. They didn't want anybody blowing off the rail. You can come out to the outside observation deck and get a 360-degree view of Sturgeon Bay. Wow, this never ceases to impress me. Just gorgeous. And look at all the fall colors still. Steel bridge is about to go up. So you can see here, when the bridges go up, people get out of their cars, walk to the edge of the bridge, see what's coming in. Kevin Osgood down on the purpose, warning everybody there's going to be a very loud salute as soon as they come through the bridge. So we got folks watching the video before they go up the tower, so we are just going to head on out. I hate doing that. Anyway, once you're done taking your photographs up on the 10th floor, you can view the rest of the museum. And I have to show you in their gift shop. So, on your way out, if you don't have a copy of Behind the Door, Profiles of a Peninsula, you can pick one up. All right, let's head over to the bridges. I'll show you some locations there. Thank you, Mary. Have a good day. You too. So you can see from when we were up in the top of the tower that there's plenty of parking here. So parking shouldn't be an issue. And then it's just a short walk from the museum to the promenade along the bay. And this is the only place where there is access to the public between the two bridges. There is no access, or very little access, on the other side. So this is a great spot to take photos from, especially in the afternoon, because the sun swings around and you're going to get beautiful light off the port side of the boats as they come in, or the starboard side as they go out. But it's a much better vantage point anytime midday onward as opposed to the other side of the bridges. So you see here we have this beautiful deck, and I shoot at night from this spot a lot because it's solid. Anyone else is walking on it. It doesn't shake, so you can take long exposures here. I've got some beautiful Northern Lights photos from here before. This is a really great spot to get photos of the tug fleet here too. So before we head over to the Oregon Street Bridge, I had mentioned in the museum, I showed you an example of my book, Behind the Door, Portraits of a Peninsula. And it occurs to me now that, you know, I don't really promote my book much at all on my YouTube channel. And so I thought I would mention it here. So many of the photos that I've shown here as examples on this video of where the boats are coming in, they're included in a coffee table book, and the book is now in its second edition. It has over 140 of my photographs and 29 original essays and poems all about the life and the culture and the customs and traditions and the history of the Door Peninsula. Things that tourists and visitors don't typically see. And many of the stories and photos in here are derived from the more than 100 behind the door videos that I've made. And adjacent to those photos in the book is a QR code, which you can scan with your phone or iPad or whatever. And it takes you directly to that specific episode on location with me on how I captured that particular image.
Curious as I am as to what mysteries, what secrets lie beyond that shadowy veil.
So in that respect, the book is interactive, I guess. This took over 6 years for me to make, and I'm very proud of it. It's been very well received and has earned 4 independent publishing awards, including National Gold Medal for Best Regional Book, Nonfiction, and Silver Medal for Best Overall Design and Layout for a Regional Book, Nonfiction. And it's picked up 2 international awards, too, including a Bronze Medal for Best Regional Book, Nonfiction from among 64 participating countries worldwide. So the book is very high quality with a soft touch cover. The replication of the photos is absolutely superb, and the print and binding quality are first rate. I couldn't be happier with how this book turned out. And you can order the book directly through me at my website, and I handle all the orders myself. And I'll personally sign it for you, package it up, and ship it out to you anywhere in the U.S. So if you're so inclined, I would appreciate it. At least have a look at it on my website. Thanks. And all right, on to the Oregon Street Bridge. One of the things to keep in mind, if you want to shoot from the bridges, and you were out either like at Barge Road or out at Canal Park at the canal entrance, you have to make haste and get into town quickly because traffic gets snarled whenever boats are coming through, because both of these bridges go up at the same time, and they could be up for a half an hour or so. And if you wanted to shoot from the other side of these bridges, might not be able to get to the other side of town. So, as I mentioned earlier though, this side, the west side, is a great place to shoot from anytime except early morning. The reason for that is because the sun is in this direction here. It sets over that way in midwinter. You don't get those deep shadows on the side of the boat though, and your shot ends up overexposed because the sky's so bright and the boat is so dark. It looks silhouetted, and even trying to correct it in Lightroom can be a challenge. And the unique thing about shooting from this bridge is, especially on this side, you can shoot from both sides of the bridge. On the Michigan Street Bridge, there's only one walkway, and it's on the south side there. Once the leaves of this bascule bridge go up, people are stuck in their cars. They get out of their cars and they watch the boats coming in from over on that side of the bridge there, and then they run across the road and watch it come through the bridge here, then through the Michigan Street Bridge. Okay, while there's no traffic, I'm going to make my way across to the other side of the bridge, and I'll show you what's great about this location here from the south side. As the boats come in through the canal, especially the big boats, the 1,000-footers, they have to kind of pivot and turn here. And so you get a nice 3/4 view of the boat waiting to come in through the bridges. Either they're waiting for the tugs to clear out ice, or they're waiting for the Michigan Street Bridge to fully open. Whatever the reason, once they start through, they come through at an angle because the channel is at a bit of an angle here. And because these two bridges are offset, they're not perfectly aligned. Once they start heading through this Oregon Maple Street Bridge, they can't adjust their trajectory to go into the Michigan Street Bridge. So it's at a bit of an angle. And they can't make any adjustments once they're between the two bridges. So heading back over now, I'll show you this bump out area here near where the bridge tender is, that if the bridge is down and they only have the Michigan Street Bridge up, like in this photo here I took of the Baltimore 2 tall ship when it was here for the festival in the summer, pulling away from the dock over by the tugs and getting ready to go through the Michigan Street Bridge out to the Bay of Green Bay for an evening sail. But if boats are coming in or going out through the canal, you can't get to this spot because we're actually on the leaves of the bridge that go up right here. But if it's only the Michigan Street Bridge, it's a great shot, great vantage point. Feeling a bit peckish, I decided to stop for lunch at my favorite blue-collar bar in Sturgeon Bay, the Red Room, a favorite among shipyard workers and owned and operated by the same family since Harry Truman was president, and where a delicious made-to-order cheeseburger, large order of fries, and a pint of spotted cow is still only $13.50. So here we are on the east side of the Michigan Street Bridge, also known as the Steel Bridge, built in 1931. And it was the first bridge to carry vehicle traffic over Sturgeon Bay. And they were going to tear this thing down. There was a big stink made about it, and a coalition of local people got together and literally saved the bridge. They have the Steel Bridge Song Fest now every year to commemorate that event. So this is a good spot to take a photo from the east side if the sun is either at your back or at night when boats are going through the Oregon Street Bridge that we were just on there before lunch. And there's enough light here downtown along the working waterfront here. All right, one more location, and then we're done with canal side entry and exits. And then we're going to move over in the second episode to ships coming in through Sturgeon Bay from the Green Bay side. Okay, let's head on over to Bayview Park. So this is part of the old Anape and Western Railroad toll bridge that in the 1870s connected the west side of Sturgeon Bay, which was then called the town of Sawyer, to the east side, the city of Sturgeon Bay proper. And about halfway across was this truss swing bridge that opened and let marine traffic through. By 1931, the Michigan Street Bridge opened, and to accommodate the increase in traffic. And the rail portion of the toll then was turned back over to the Anape and Western, which in 1946 reinforced the deteriorating trestle with earth and rock fill and created this embankment, extending all the way to where the swing bridge used to be. And then this embankment lay dormant until 1987 when the city of Sturgeon Bay decided to convert it into a park. And it's a good place to shoot from, as you're literally out in the middle of the bay as the boats are making their way through. And if you swing around, you can get a good view of the shipyard, which is behind me there. Boats often pause here while preparations are being made in the slips at Bay Ship. And there's always plenty of tug activity assist here too. So a medium zoom lens is a good choice here, capturing the bridge's reflections off the water like in this photo here. The only drawback to this location is it can get really, really cold out here when that west wind funnels down the bay and the bay narrows. And another consideration is in the early morning, during the months of November to about January, you're going to be shooting directly into the sun. And if you shoot in auto mode, your sensor is going to meter off of the considerable sky it sees in the viewfinder. The boat, the main attraction, is going to be severely underexposed. It's always best to keep the sun behind you as much and as often as possible for the best color and the best detail and the best exposures. And this is a nice wide open area too to launch a drone. And there are far fewer people out here than there are along the shore, and far fewer drones in the air that are on this side of the bridge than there are between the bridges. Airspace is very limited there, and everyone is out to get the money shot. Well, that does it for me for this episode of Behind the Door. We covered all my favorite locations now for canal entries and exits. In the next episode, we're going to look at all of the locations that are off to the west, coming in off the bay. So, until next time, thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it very much. Please take care of yourself. And until next time, I'll see you down the road.